Hey guys, welcome to Your Best Interviews. My name is Eric Smith. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. Today I want to talk about the 3 best interview tips that I can give you if you're just starting the process, or it's last minute before an interview, or you're just wondering where you should start and focus your time. So number 1 is do your homework. Do your homework around the company that you're interviewing for. Make sure you know everything about them, their industry, their competitors, know all of that, because there's likely going to be questions that come your way to understand your knowledge of their business, and you want to make sure that you can answer this question and not get stumped by it. So make sure you've done your homework on the company that you're interviewing for. I know that sounds very basic, but you'd be surprised how many people go into these interviews with very little knowledge of what's going on in their business today, and they want to make sure that you're invested in their business because they're looking to hire you for it. So do your homework around that. Second, you want to also, this isn't number 2, but goes along with doing your homework. You want to make sure that you've done your homework around compensation for that role that you're interviewing for. So this comes in prep, but it's a really, really good idea to understand where you sit in the salary range based on the role that you're applying to, based on your experience and your qualifications. And you have to be very realistic about this. I know everyone thinks their value's up here, but in reality, understand that you're competing with a lot of different people for this role. And so you want to be very realistic where you sit in the qualification range based on your experience and qualifications for that role. So do your homework. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. I've got a lot of resources. I've got other videos on it. I've got a full interview prep course that walks through compensation. So check all of that out, but make sure that you've done your homework and done it the right way so you know where you sit and you're not set off guard if they ask you compensation question. Number 2, you have to make sure that you've prepared for the one interview question that you will likely get asked in every interview, and it always comes at the beginning, is tell me about yourself. So this question, again, 99% of the time, you're going to get asked this in an interview, and it's going to come early. It's going to be usually that first interview question. They're going to say, so tell me about yourself. And what they're looking for is an answer outside of your resume. They can see your resume, but they want to see how you explain your previous experiences and how that has led you to sitting in the chair interviewing for the role that you're interviewing for. So make sure that you are prepared for how to answer the question, tell me about yourself. And the other side of this is you want to make sure that you're practicing and preparing for this, because you want to be concise around this too. I've seen people answer this question and it takes 5-10 minutes to answer one question. And when I say it sets the tone for the whole interview, if you are so self-aware that you're just rambling on and on for 10 minutes on this one question, it's likely not going to pan out really well for you. So you need to make sure that you're preparing correctly, that you've got it down, maybe not memorize word for word, but you know your bullet points. You know exactly what you want to mention from your previous roles, why it led you to the next thing, and why you're sitting in front of them today. So practice that, keep it concise, try and aim for that 2-minute window of how to answer this question that revolves around interviewing for the role that you're interviewing for and why you're sitting in front of them. And then number 3, and this sort of feeds into 2, but you have to practice. I can't emphasize this enough. I know it's the most generic piece of advice, but it's the number 1 piece of advice that I give to everybody. You have to practice. And when I say practice, whatever your thinking practice is, you need to double, triple, quadruple it, because practice is the number 1 way to ensure that you're going to put your best foot forward and that you're going to give yourself every odds of moving forward in that interview process. And so you have to pour every available second, because the other side of this, and I try and emphasize this anytime I'm coaching someone, but when I say practice, the importance of pouring every second into what you're interviewing for and how to answer every question that could come your way, and doing it over and over and putting yourself in uncomfortable positions and practicing so much that you're sick of hearing your voice, you're sick of looking at yourself in the mirror as you're practicing, all these things. Getting the job that you want and getting this dream aspirational goal job, it sets you up in so many different ways that I can't even explain. So having the right job that you feel connected to, that you're compensated well for, all these different things changes your mental state. It makes you happier. It sets you up for the future. It opens doors for the future. Things that maybe you today don't think are capable for you could set you up if you get the right roles. And so this is why it's so important. And it blows my mind how many people go into these interviews of these roles that would change their life and they really, really want. They want more than anything, but they don't put the time into practicing. And so when it comes time to actually interviewing, all the errors, all the blunders come out, and it eliminates them from the process, or it puts them in a very, very disadvantaged position to get the job that they really want. And so when I say practice, I mean you need to look at this as your full-time job, and your job is to get into a role that can open doors for you and change your life, right? And so that's what you should be shooting for. And in order to win in those situations, you have to practice so much that you know every question that could come your way. You know exactly how you would translate your experience into the role that they're hiring for and why you're the best person for it, how to answer every single question without getting stumped. And it's almost muscle memory that on the day of the interview, you're almost looking forward to it because you're so sick of practicing. That's the type of practice that I want you to pour into this, because it really does change your life if you get the role that you really want, or you go to a company that's willing to invest in growing your skill set so that you can grow. So you got to practice. I can't emphasize that one enough, and you need to practice the right way. And I've invested a lot of time, guys, into other videos, into a full interview prep course that's very cheap and available, and it's got everything that you need. But there's a lot of resources. So check out my site, check out my other videos, check out the comprehensive course. I've got different teasers that can give you an idea of all the different processes within the hiring process that can help you. But you have to practice, and you have to practice the right way so that you can put your best foot forward and get the roles that you really want. So yeah, with that, I'll recap. Do your homework. Make sure you know about the company, their industry, their competitors. Make sure you've done homework around the compensation, so if that question comes, you're not stumped. Make sure that you are practicing for the number one question that you're going to get asked, which is tell me about yourself. It's a simple question, but that is the question that people stumble on and shoot themselves in the foot and get eliminated from the process most often. So practice the tell me about yourself. Keep it to 2 minutes. Keep it concise and focus it on the important parts that relate to why you're sitting in front of them. And then number 3, practice every area of the hiring process from phone screen all the way through. Because that will eliminate your nerves when interviewing and give you every opportunity of getting the jobs that you want. Good luck.